Vasudev Narayanam Namaskritya Naram Chaiv Narottamam Devim Saraswatim Vyasam Tato Jayamudiri Nashtipraesha Bhadreshu Nityam Bhagavata Chet Bhagavad Sevya Bhagavati Uttam Shloke Bhaktir Bhavati Nashtike. Continuing with the discussion on Prabhupada Lilamrita by Srila Goswami, we are discussing when Prabhupada is speaking with Rameshwar Swami and other disciples in the train from Bombay to Allahabad for Kumbh Mela. Rameshwar Swami continued to stir the controversies, anxious to fortify his own convictions and preaching ability by hearing directly from Srila Prabhupada. So many points are being discussed. So it's not like Rameshwar Maharaj was following those points, but he wanted to hear Prabhupada's viewpoints, so he could preach that way, and others could also preach that way. Very often, Rameshwar said, they will say, it's not religion that we are concerned with, but it is brainwashing and mind control. You're chanting so many hours a day. Yeah, that also is a problem with some people. What is it to you? Prabhupada interrupted sharply. That is my business. Why do you bother yourself? Rameshwar. But you're not giving these young people a chance to think when they chant for so many hours. Prabhupada. You're thieves. You're coming to kidnap. Why shall I give you a chance? They are chanting, but you're charging brainwash. You ask them, don't chant. That is your business. But that you cannot do. Rameshwar. But they say that takes away freedom to think. Prabhupada, that is controversy. But you want to take his freedom and still you are accusing us? Prabhupada said that first there should be a test of what is genuine religion. We say, said Prabhupada, that the law given by God is religion, and it doesn't matter what name is given to God. If we say Krishna, that doesn't mean that he's not God. So before that, there is a challenge to Krishna consciousness. There should be an assembly discussion and decision as to what is genuine religion. So we say that God is one, and whatever he has given us law, that is religion. That's Bhagavatam says. Whatever Krishna says, whatever Krishna does, that is religion. Dharmam tu sakshat bhagavat pranitam. Rameshwar. But the Christians say that according to the Bible, if God wanted us to believe in Krishna, he would have told us on Mount Sinai, and he would have told us through Jesus Christ. Jesus said, I am the only way. Prabhupada. That's all right. But Jesus Christ did not explain more to you because you are rascals. Of course, we cannot say that in the discussion. You cannot follow even his one instruction, thou shalt not kill. It is not the foolishness of Jesus Christ. But because you are so rascal, you cannot understand him. Therefore, he avoided you rascals, because whatever he said, you cannot follow. So what will you understand? Therefore, he stopped speaking. Rameshwar. They also say that you are ruining family life. Prabhupada. That's all right. We are entering Krishna's family. Harisori. But if you are actual followers of God, why are you breaking up the families? Shouldn't you have love for everyone? Rameshwar. One of the commandments is that one shall honor thy father and mother. Prabhupada replied that the devotee loves his mother and father by teaching them Krishna consciousness. Harishori. My mother testified to that. When I was at home, she said I was impossible to live with. When she saw me afterwards, I was very nice. Prabhupada. Many, Hayagriva's father and mother also. Rameshwar. My parents think like that too. I could have no relationship with them before, but now that I am a devotee, I actually want to help them. Prabhupada. There are so many fathers and mothers who appreciate. None of our disciples are disrespectful to mother and father. Why? I never said you become disrespectful to your father and mother. At Brahmananda's initiation, his mother was standing there, and I instructed Brahmananda, take the dust of your mother's feet first, then you offer me obeisances. So first of all, he offered his obeisances to his mother. I told him, you have got good mother. Otherwise, how she has got a son like you? I always say like that. I never say disrespect. In a particular case, if the father and mother are demons, he must give up their association. But we never said break up the family. And then Brahmananda Maharaj, when he was telling that when he touched his mother's feet, even the mother was shocked. What is this? What are you doing? Because Christian, in their society, they don't touch the feet of their parents or elders. And Brahmananda Maharaj, he was a big body, very big body, probably 6 feet, 5 fours, maybe more, and heavy build. And he was like, when I bent to touch my mother's foot, mother wasn't that big, and and he was really shocked. What are you doing? And not just Brahmananda, his brother also, Garg Muni, they both got initiated. Well, anyway, parents definitely had a good surprise. And also, see, this point of Prabhupada, we have to understand. Once in Delhi temple, I was there, and in the afternoon, I had to go to the administration block, and there was a crowd in the meeting room. Many people sitting there, and the police was there also, and they could not find any devotee, so they called me inside. I said, "Okay, what's happening?" I saw a devotee. He was a newcomer in yellow clothes, so he wasn't initiated yet, and so elderly people and many people, and they were angry, shouting. I said, "What's going on?" So police inspector, he explained that this boy is a civil engineer from IIT Guwahati, but he is from Jaipur originally, and he got a job in Jammu with MES. And and his mother went to take care of him because he was alone. His mother leaving his father and everybody at Jaipur, and she went there. And this boy just ran away from Jammu. Nobody knew where he was. And finally, they found him here at Contd. Now the parents are there to take him back. Just imagine the situation. And I told that boy, I don't remember the name of that devotee. I told that boy, how could you leave your mother alone in Jammu and run away from there? And the mother was saying, I never stopped him from chanting. I said, what makes you do like things like this? I mean, who's preaching you to do like this? See, in our immature stage, we don't understand. We think, oh, our parents are demons, our relatives are demons. So I have nothing to do. I only want to do bhakti and chant and preach and this and that. But what kind of preaching are we doing? If we are antagonizing so many relatives and they are not going to have a good image of ISKCON afterwards, and they're going to tell 20 more of their relatives and friends and neighbors. So all these people will have a negative image of ISKCON. So what kind of preaching did you do? So just to, just calm everybody down, I said, technically, I said he hasn't joined the temple because he's still in yellow clothes. He's not a brahmachari. Brahmachari means in the saffron clothes. So he's just here for training, and after training, he will decide what to do. just to calm everybody down. And just a second. And once some parents came, I think they were from Haryana, and they brought some people with them, and they were looking for their boy. And devotees, they just hid that boy in Brahmachari ashram. They could not find the boy. They started breaking up things. In bookshop, they broke up things, and then they beat up a few brahmacharis. What kind of immature decision is this? Here, Prabhupada, they think you should respect your parents, respect your father and mother. Here and now we are hearing brahmachari boys running away from their parents and joining the ashram. Whether they continue or not, I don't know. But the beginning is not. So one should respect. One should have all respects for his parents, at least for parents, if not for other relatives also. And what do parents want? Even in America or in India, all they want is their son to be protected, to be secure. That's all. And this part somehow in our preaching is missing. But now realizing, and then a few years back, there was a television show also. They brought a brahmachari on the television, and questions were being asked, and his parents were crying that he just left, and this and that. Oh, so much of negative image gets created. So much of. But these young devotees, they don't understand. No matter what happens, no matter what in their life, two people they can always count on, their father and mother. Always. No matter what they have done. Parents are always there to love them, to take care of their children. But we, in our enthusiasm, oh, this is my life, this is it, this is my last life, I have to do my bhakti. And bhakti means preaching also. We have to preach and preach by our behavior. The first thing that is taught to devotees is, oh, parents, they are Maya. Wife is Maya, children are Maya, everything is Maya. I don't know what kind of preaching is that. Rameshwar, I think we have used up all our arguments. Prabhupada, still eager to argue. First of all, you said that we are depriving of food. Where is this? Rameshwar, yes, this is the argument. That we only let devotees eat twice a day and there is no meat and very little protein. Prabhupada. That depends on him. If he likes to eat that kind of food, you have no right to force. Then you're turning to force. They are different persons and they like different types of food. If he likes twice a day, why do you insist thrice? That's his choice. Rameshwar. And sleeping only 4 or 5 hours, very little. Prabhupada, yes, because it's a waste of time. Rameshwar. But this makes his mind very weak. Prabhupada. You rascal, you have nothing to do. You sleep. Napoleon used to sleep for 1 hour. 2 hours. He was such a busy man. So they are so busy in Krishna consciousness. Every great man does not sleep very much. Sleeping is simply a waste of time. If he does not sleep more, it's a sign of greatness. Wow, I didn't know that. Napoleon used to sleep only 1 or 2 hours. So many things on his mind. When Rameshwar Swami argued that the opposition has psychologists to testify against us, Prabhupada replied, we have got our psychologists. After taking all afternoon and into the night, Prabhupada told the devotees to rest. At 10 p.m., He lay down and Hari Hari massaged his legs. Actually, Srila Prabhupada concluded, their arguments are not very sound. Therefore, it is simply a plan of Krishna's to help give us some prominence. It will make us more well known. That because of this court case in New York. Opposition, he said, was just an opportunity to preach. But to deal properly with the legal cases and other serious opposition, the devotees would have to know how to preach. And they would have to be spiritually strong. He was raiding his men, speaking to them day and night on the 24-hour train ride to Allahabad. Allahabad, January 12th. They arrived at 9 a.m. and half a dozen of Srila Prabhupada's sannyasi disciples, along with the kirtan party of about 50 devotees, were there to greet them. They had brought Prabhupada's car down from Delhi, and he rode the short distance from the station to the Mela site. Thousands of pilgrims on foot and in rickshaws crowded the streets, making Prabhupada's progress by car slow. Finally, the road ended, but the traffic continued onto the sandy flats surrounding the Triveni, confluence of the rivers Saraswati, Ganga, and Yamuna. Here, within a few days, a city of tents had sprung up. 2 million had camped already, with millions more arriving daily. Every spiritual group in India had its bamboo-fenced compound of tents. As the car ranged along, Prabhupada smiled to see a group of his disciples strolling among the camps and performing Harinam Kirtan. But not until he passed through the congested main area of camps to the far end of the Triveni did he reach the ISKCON camp. The ISKCON tents, most of which had been erected about half an hour before Srila Prabhupada's arrival, were located near a railway bridge on an island called Gangadweep, and the Triveni bathing area was a 20-minute walk away. I think this is where we get our tent every year. The festival organizers had provided simple outdoor toilets, water taps, and a kitchen, consisting of a cloth partition, a hole in the ground, and some bricks. Well, now they do better facility. It was, as Srila Prabhupada had expected, the usual Kumbh Mela austerity. But he was displeased with the camp's remote location. And when he heard that the electric lines did not reach that area, he became even more displeased. How could people come to the program in the evening if there were no lights? He called for Bhagwat and Gurudas, who were in charge of organizing this ISKCON camp. Who guard this land? He yelled. When I got here, said Bhagwat, it was an empty field. They told me, we are putting you on this island. The governor is there, Kalpatri Maharaj is there, Maharshi Mahesh Yogi is here. I thought you were there with all the leading personalities. Srila Prabhupada laughed. He was inexperienced, so they cheated you. All right, you did not know. But later, when he heard that Bhagwat and Gurudas had not obtained enough food for mass distribution, he became angry. Again, he called for Bhagwat. Why is there no prasadam distribution tonight? He demanded. Well, Prabhupada Bhagwat stuttered. I don't know. They didn't buy any food. Why have they not bought? Prabhupada was angry. What is the matter with you? The Americans are big spenders, simply wasting money. You have no stock of food. Why you did not stock rice, dal, and wheat? Why you have no stock? What's the matter with you? You have no brain. You spend 5 rupees cab fare going, 5 rupees cab fare coming back, and you buy 1 rupee of rice. This is your mentality. You're nonsense. Every time you need something, you go to the store and buy it. You don't know how to buy sufficiently one time and then use it. You cannot think like that. And why have you made this location under the elevated train? Why have you done this wrong? The train is making noise. This pandal is a failure. Food is not being distributed. After 20 minutes of reprimanding, Prabhupada dismissed Bhagwat. A little later, Prabhupada called for Bhagwat again. Bhagwat Maharaj, he began, although Bhagwat was not a sannyasi. If you can just get the lights on, then you will be doing good. Can you do that? Bhagwat said he could, and by that night, the ISKCON camp had lights. Although, as at all the other camps, the power was frequently shut off. So this was 1977, but this time when we went, not a single moment of power shut off. The government made sure there is power, plenty of power. throughout the camp because anything can happen if there is no light. Only a few people visited the ISKCON Pandal the first night. The weather was cold, damp, and windy. Srila Prabhupada chose to sit up all night at his desk rather than lie in the cold bed. Wearing all his clothes, sweaters, a hooded coat, a chadar, and gloves, he sat at his desk in the darkness. A kerosene heater did little to drive the chill from the tent. Rameshwar Swami sat up much of the night too, relighting the heater's pilot light, which blew out every few minutes as the wind swept through the tent. By morning, Srila Prabhupada had a bad cold with runny nose and eyes. He did not go to the river for bathing but used the icy water from the pump next to the tent. His hands and feet were swollen, something that had happened to him before during illness. When the devotee suggested he not stay at the camp, Prabhupada insisted. He wanted to preach. People were beginning to discover his location and come to see him. So he wanted to stay and preach. Kumbh Mela, he said, was an opportunity for the devotees to preach, not merely to go and bathe in the Ganga. Because so many people come, so many. The devotees crowded into Srila Prabhupada's tent for Guru Puja and Srimad Bhagavatam class. They had no garland for him, but he said nothing about it. By the time he had ended his short lecture, the sun had risen. He asked Harishori to put the cot outdoors, where he rested and later took massage in the sunshine. During his massage, Prabhupada looked over at the railroad bridge and said that he remembered this bridge from his former days in Allahabad. He said that his father had been cremated under the bridge on the same island of Gangadweep in 1930. And that bridge is still there and trains still go on that bridge. That afternoon, a group of devotees arrived from Mayapur and some of them immediately complained to Prabhupada about how poorly managed the ISKCON Pandal seemed to be. Prabhupada asked them to try to salvage the program by distributing as many books as possible. So the devotees began distributing Hindi editions of Prabhupada's books. The devotees took their chanting and book distribution down the main road where they came upon the camps of different Shaivites who sat around their fires wearing only kopis, loincloths. Many of them, their hair matted, their bodies covered with ashes, were puffing heavily on hashish and chillum pipes. Nearby on the other side of the road were the camps of Vaishnavas from Ramanuja Sampradaya. Though they were also Tyagis or renunciates, and their appearance was similar to the Shaivites, they were more friendly and they were glad to see the devotees and shouted out, Hare Krishna, Hare Rama. The devotees were amazed by the piety of the millions of pilgrims. On seeing the Kirtan party approach, many people offered prostrated obeisances. Others rolled on the ground or picked up dust where the devotees had walked and put it in their mouths. Wow. So this is the piety in India. And although many of the pilgrims were poor, they came forward and dropped at least a few paisa into the pot carried by one of the devotees. Anyone who gave a rupee would receive a book, and the books became so popular that people would come and ask for them by name. Some people threw money, and the sannyasis would catch it in their top cloths, which they would hold out like the aprons. By the end of the day, the devotees had distributed about 7,000 pieces of literature. On the second night, Srila Prabhupada again sat up, while Rameshwar Swami tried futilely to keep the heater going. Harishori had placed Srila Prabhupada's dictating equipment on the desk, but Prabhupada did not touch it. January 14th, Srila Prabhupada's third day in Allahabad, was the first day of Kumbh Mela bathing and would be a special opportunity for book distribution. An ISKCON chanting party of about 50 men and several Indian Gurukul boys were very well received as they traveled throughout the Mela area. At 1:30 p.m., the time of auspicious bathing, the Kirtan party made its way to the Triveni. As they approached, the police cleared a path for them all the way to the water. By evening, they had distributed 8,000 books. And for the first time since they had arrived, Prabhupada expressed his pleasure at the success. He ordered some of the sannyasis to stay at the Mela until all the books were distributed. I don't know how many books they were carrying, but plenty. The next morning, despite ill health, Prabhupada took a walk. Surrounded by about 25 disciples, he walked slowly. Although he was a small figure, surrounded by tall sannyasis, the Kumbh Mela pilgrims were able to easily recognize his preeminent position. And they would break through the ranks of devotees and offer them danvats before him. When Prabhupada saw people approaching, he would stop walking and let them touch his feet, despite the objections of his disciples. He was already sick, and he had explained in his books that a devotee can become ill if sinful people touch his feet. Still, he did not object. Because by touching feet, or taking the dust of the lotus feet of such a pure devotee, people make tremendous progress in bhakti. Srila Prabhupada was scheduled to stay at the Mela through January 21st, but his disciples pressed him to go to a place more suitable for his health. Rarely had they seen him so sick, and they were worried. But my only ambition, said Prabhupada, is that so many people can become enlightened. Word was beginning to circulate that Srila Prabhupada, the guru of the Hare Krishna movement, was staying in a camp on Gangadweep, and more people were starting to come to see him. He said that the people who were coming to Kumbh Mela were expecting all the holy men and spiritual teachers of India to be there. So he felt obligated to stay until the 21st. Rameshwar Swami tried to advise Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, he said, there is something much more important than you're giving darshan to these people, and that is your writing of your books. Only a few thousand people are going to see you here, but if you go on writing, we'll distribute your books by the millions. Then millions of people will have your darshan. There is no facility for writing here. The climate is too cold, and your health is weak. Let's go on to Bhubaneswar, where it is warm and they have healthy water. Srila Prabhupada had previously mentioned Bhubaneswar, now Bhubaneswar near Jagannath Puri, because the weather is warm over there, or warmer than Allahabad. Srila Prabhupada had previously mentioned Bhubaneswar because of the water of Bindu Sarovar, which are supposed to have special medicinal properties. And he liked the argument that his writing was more important than his remaining in Allahabad to benefit a few thousand pilgrims. For the devotees on his personal staff, his secretary, servant, and cook, to see Prabhupada going through such austerities while suffering ill health was very painful. Finally, Prabhupada agreed to go. He called in Gurudas and Bhagavad and gave them a final verbal chastising for the mismanaged pandal. Then, on the afternoon of 15th, he prepared to leave. Rameshwar Swami and Gurudas went to the train station to purchase tickets, but they found that no seats would be available for weeks. Seeking special consideration, they visited the local railway office, a lavishly appointed remodeled railway car. There they happened to meet their friend from Bombay, Mr. Gupta, and they told him of Prabhupada's illness and of his desire to leave at once for Calcutta. Mr. Gupta phoned Bombay and arranged for a first-class coach to be added to a train coming from Bombay to Allahabad. The devotees profusely thanked Mr. Gupta, who began proposing that Srila Prabhupada travel throughout India in a royal car like the one they were in. The devotees discussed with him about how they might buy or lease such a car, and it seemed an interesting possibility. But the immediate miracle had been arranged, a coach to take Prabhupada out of the crowded throngs of Kumbh Mela to Calcutta. See, Krishna makes wonderful arrangements. And first class car just for the devotees, and just added to the train. Krishna can do miracles. After a difficult car ride, inching along the crowds from the Triveni to the train station, Prabhupada and his party finally arrived at the railway station, where government men helped him and his disciples with their luggage and saw to their comfort. From the devotee's point of view, this was the proper respect for a pure devotee of the Lord, the most important person in the world. Yet such treatment was rare. And of course, we cannot even expect this treatment outside India. Nobody would do such things. Srila Prabhupada was pleased, and he asked his secretary to type a letter thanking Mr. Gupta, who was caring for Prabhupada, just like a father looking after his son. He invited Mr. Gupta and his family to attend the upcoming Gaur Purnima festival in Mayapur. So during the train ride to Calcutta, Srila Prabhupada reiterated his displeasure with the mismanaged ISKCON Pandal at Kumbh Mela. Thousands of guests were coming to the Hare Krishna Pandal without receiving prashadam. Determined that the bad example not to be repeated, he dictated a letter to all ISKCON temple residents. Well, I want to read this letter tomorrow. But now talking about prashadam distribution at Kumbh Mela, devotees had been working hard for so many years, and now this year, Adani Group came forward to sponsor the prashadam distribution. And not just for Kumbh Mela, they are sponsored during Jagannath Rath Yatra also with ISKCON. So yes, if we are sincere in our service, Krishna can make wonderful arrangements. All we have to do is just be sincere, just be determined in doing your service. Now Adani Group has come, who knows, maybe Ambani Group will also come up with something. Who knows? And whether it's a splinter group, yeah, but Akshay Patra does wonderful prashadam distribution everywhere. Whether it's Kumbh Mela or Jagannath Rath Yatra or other places, they do so much of prashadam distribution. Mhm. So prashadam distribution is must for preaching. Okay, I guess I can stop here. See anybody has any questions or comments?
प्रभु जी जो कुंभ मेला में प्रसादम था that was such a good quality. It was not like कि भाई चलो बहुत सारे लोग हैं तो जैसा मर्जी दे दो. Really, really delicious. Really, really
Yeah,
good.
yeah.
मतलब quantity तो था ही and quality was also maintained. It was really
Mhm.
nice.
Yep.
Thank you
Sure.
so much. Divine.
You all have
May
said
Bali God.
Hare
Thank you. Thank
Krishna.
you so much. Hare